Good morning. I hope you can hear me. This is a completely unscripted video that I'm doing this morning, and I'm hoping to post it this morning. Today is the 28th of December and it's 2:30 p.m. Where I am. And I wanted to say hello to everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you had a good break. I hope you celebrated with your families and whoever else was around. If you traveled, I hope your trip was safe, and I hope that we're all looking forward to the new year. The reason why I'm making this video is really just to recap. There was a video that I planned to upload today, but I may not upload it because I really don't think it was up to scratch, and I really want to say this. There are a few things that I've learned about myself and about whatever I've been doing this year. And I've had some issues. For instance, this holiday, I had planned to be more active than I was. And that was all because, as most of you know, we have 4 kids and they're adult kids. Our youngest is 21. And they're all spread out all over the country, and they don't get to meet until the end of the year. So very often when they do meet, which typically would be around this time of the year, I get involved. I have to make sure that everything is fine. I have to make sure that food is available. I have to make sure that I spend time with them and have a chat and talk to them about their lives and what they've been up to and what they plan to do for the next year. Often it usually coincides with the end of the year. So that's what I've been doing with them, and the new year is still ahead and they're all still at home. But I just wanted to recap. There were a few things that I wanted to really talk about, some of the things that I've learned this year. And the first thing that I've learned is about planning. It's really difficult to imagine how hard it is to have a YouTube channel or to run a YouTube channel when you're working or when you have other commitments. Planning becomes really important. And the funny thing is that I have always seen myself as someone who is a good planner. But unfortunately this time it hasn't really reflected at all in what I'm doing. So I have to hone it in more. I have to work harder at planning, at managing my time and allocating my time, and making sure that every single time that I have, that I put it to good use and not have excuses as to why I didn't. So that was one thing that I've learned that I wasn't really happy about, and I'm hoping that next year I will work on that. The other thing that I've learned is about consistency. It's really related to planning. If you're going to be consistent, you have to be a very good planner. You have to be a very good not just planner, but you have to be a good organizer also. You have to organize what you're going to do. You have to have a plan as to what you need to do to make sure that what you want to do next is accomplished, which has been really difficult because YouTube is not something, or any social media is not something that you can just wake up and do. And in some cases you can do that. Like now, I didn't plan to do this and I'm doing it. So sometimes that works. But if you have a niche that you're working in, for instance, I'm in the wellness and fitness area, and you have to research, you have to plan before you film or before you video what you're going to say. And I have not really been great in that. I've not been consistent. I have not planned, I have not organized, and as a result, I've not been consistent with what I've been doing. So that's the other thing that I have had issues with. I have had issues with also is the learning part of it. I'm a Gen X, I'm 55 years old, and unfortunately we're one of those, I'm from that generation where we are tech challenged, supposedly, even though I have a lot of friends who are very good. Excuse me, getting a little warm. And that has affected my progress in the sense that editing has been challenging for me. There have been certain things that I've done, and I feel that if I had edited better, or if I knew more about editing, that perhaps the final product would have been much better than it has been. So I have to get used to the fact that I need to learn new skills, master new skills. And I know that I don't have to learn a lot. You can see that I'm getting hot. I'm still suffering, It doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to be a few things that I can learn, that I need in what I'm doing, that I can really master and be able to use them consistently to make good videos or have good products. And that's one thing that I have to get used to, is to continue to learn. And when you learn, you have to put it in practice, as we all know. If you learn and you don't put it in practice, you do forget. And that's one thing that I have to really hone in on, is to make time out to learn skills. It's not just to research about what I'm going to talk about or what I'm going to deal with in the channel, but also to learn skills as to how to present them. Because if you know what you're doing and you don't present them in a way that people will be engaged, people will be willing, or people will be keen to learn, then sometimes a lot of your work will go to waste because nobody's interested, because you haven't made it such that people will be attracted or people will be engaged in what you're doing. So that's another thing that I have to do, is to keep learning. The other thing is to go back to reading. I was always an avid reader, but unfortunately, with time, your work, and all kinds of other pressures, you tend to lose that. I used to read. I was always reading a book, but now I can't remember the last time I read a book. And my attention, patience is the other thing that I'll speak about in a moment. My attention, it's not the same as it used to be. My attention is short. I get easily distracted because of so many other things that I do, and because of, duty calls whenever it calls. And so I have not been reading, and I can feel when I've not been reading. Sometimes you have to really dig deep to get the words out, or to be able to express yourself in a way that comes across better, and in a way that people will understand you better in relation to what you're doing. So that's one thing I have to go back to, is reading. And if you have any suggestions as to good books that are currently trending, that are good reads, I tend to prefer non-fiction, but I know that there are also good fiction books. So if you have any idea or any suggestions as to books that I can start reading again, that's one of my plans, then please share in the comment section, because I really do want to get back to reading. Even if it's one book a month, that's fine. I can't remember the last time I read a book. Even magazines, I used to subscribe to so many great magazines. Good Housekeeping was my favorite. I haven't read any magazines in a very long time, even though now with the internet sometimes you don't need to, but let me tell you, I don't read as much as I used to. Like I mentioned earlier, and patience is the other thing. I have not always been a very patient person, but I got better with my patience. You can't have 4 kids and not be patient. But I find that since the kids have grown and left, that my impatience has come back into practice. I remember in my old job, my boss used to say that I didn't suffer fools gladly. Tell me if you know what that means, that when someone says you don't suffer fools gladly, that's me, and he was right. And I can feel that creeping into my life again. And that's one of the things that I would like to stop doing. I want to be more patient. I want to be more tolerant. I'm usually someone who I do evaluate a lot of things. I try not to jump to conclusions. So I tend to think deep about things, and I try to look through situations from all angles. And I want to be able to do that even more, and be able to cut people some slack as to when necessary, and to be able to look at things from a different point of view. And those are the things that I have struggled with this year. The YouTube channel has been good. Unfortunately, I will say that it's not really where I wanted it to be at, and I don't blame anything. I think it's me, myself, and I think it's as a result of what I've already shared. What I've already shared in this video, I believe those played a part in me not getting to where I wanted to get to. So I hope you all had a great year. I hope that next year brings good things to us and for us. I hope that we achieve our goals in life, whether it's fitness or wellness. And I hope that we continue to work on our health. Remember, health is wealth. Ndubuisi, health first. You can't do anything else if you're dead. You can't feel anything else if you're dead. So we have to make sure that we avoid being dead, and that's by keeping alive, and that's by being healthy in our lives. You can be alive and not healthy. That doesn't work. So I'm going to leave it here, and I will see you again in my next video. You take care and have a great day. And if I don't see you again before the new year, have a fabulous new year. Take care. Goodbye.